Now considered the capital ship in the U.S. Navy, the submarine has grown from a military novelty to a weapon system with tremendous strategic importance. With more technology per square inch than any other weapon system, nuclear submarines represent the state-of-the-art in technology and continue to make advances. To understand its modern significance, let's look into the history of the nuclear submarine and its progress to the present. In 1900, the United States Navy began its submarine fleet with the USS Holland. Named for its designer, John Holland, it carried a single forward torpedo tube, batteries for submerged operation, and room for 7. World War I gave witness to the destructive power of the submarine. Early German U-boats enforced a policy of unrestricted submarine warfare, sinking more than 11 million tons of Allied shipping. Great Britain was nearly brought to her knees by Germany's submarine blockade. Although the U.S. submarine force saw no action in World War I, its top brass saw the value in navigation from below the surface. Though the submarine was not effective against principal naval battle units, a new strategy evolved. By waging the war against vulnerable seaborne commerce, trade is brought to a standstill. As an ocean power, the United States saw the value of a submarine which could patrol alone in search of enemy shipping or in support of surface fleet operations. To this end, they developed the S-boat and the fleet-type submarine, capable of unescorted, long-range patrols. In World War II, the Germans again practiced unrestricted submarine warfare against the British. After America entered the war, Nazi subs attacked the North American seaboard, sinking an appalling 681 ships by July 1942. The American submarine fleet was busy in the Pacific, conducting the blockade against Japan. The silent service performed brilliantly, sinking more tonnage than all other naval and air units combined. Japanese losses were 1,178 merchant ships and 214 warships, while only 52 American subs were lost. One patrol of the USS Tang, under Commander Richard O'Kane, sent an incredible 30 Japanese ships to the ocean bottom. Several innovations helped the Allies fight the war. The snorkel allowed safe battery recharging, and the wakeless torpedo created a greater element of surprise. But no innovation was more important than sonar, the use of sound waves to detect and range objects underwater. Sonar is the platform upon which all anti-submarine warfare, ASW, is based. Once a sub was detected, the destroyer escorts would attack with several weapons in concert. Depth charges, exploding at a preset depth to rupture the sub's hull, and torpedoes equally as deadly to subs as to surface ships. Air support would always be a necessary element in effective ASW. Baby flat tops, freighters converted into landing strips, provided 2 fighter planes which would locate the sonar contacts and direct the destroyers with their gunfire. This coordination of forces provided the firepower which would break the sub threat and win the war of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The atomic bomb would change forever the face of submarine warfare. Nuclear scientists harnessed the power of the atom in the nuclear reactor. The isotope uranium-235 is suspended in a controlled chain reaction called fission, releasing heat, neutrons, and radioactivity. Not needing any oxygen to promote the reaction, its benefits were immediately recognized by submarine designers. Under the leadership of then-Captain Hyman Rickover, the father of the nuclear navy, development of the first nuclear sub was begun. An elegant design, the reactor would provide heat for a steam generator, which in turn powers the turbine and the propulsion system. Construction began on the Nautilus, and 18 months later, on January 21st, 1954, First Lady Mamie Eisenhower sent her down the ways. Underway on nuclear power, the Nautilus immediately set several speed and submerged endurance records. Her first core of uranium would propel her for more than 62,000 miles over the next 2 years, most of it spent underwater. A conventional submarine would have required more than 2 million gallons of diesel fuel. Her most notable achievement is the navigation of the North Pole on August 3rd, 1958. Submerged below the polar ice cap for 96 hours and nearly 2,000 miles, the Nautilus crossed from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic, gathering more scientific data on the Arctic Sea than ever found before. The strategic importance of nuclear power was becoming more self-evident with each accomplishment. The Skate and sister ship Sea Dragon would rendezvous at the North Pole, experimenting with multi-ship operations beneath ice. Arctic operations would become central to the forthcoming strategy of nuclear deterrence. There are 3 basic roles for attack subs: as a hunter-killer sub in ASW, forward attack and reconnaissance, and protection of task groups and convoys. The attack sub is the most effective ASW weapon. It avoids sonar detection by other subs by taking advantage of ocean inversion layers. A sub can become more quiet by diving deep, since cavitation noise decreases with depth, giving it the advantage of stealth. The most valuable aspect of ASW is the sub's sonar capabilities. Passive sonar is used to locate the target at long range. To gain an accurate reading, the sub decreases speed, minimizing the effects of flow noise created by hydrophones moving through water. Active sonar is not used at long range, since it would immediately give away the hunter's position. Closing in for the kill, active sonar produces readings for the fire control computer, which in turn directs vector and coordinate data to the designated weapon for firing.
Make tube 1 ready in all respects.
Tube 1 ready in all respects. That's course about club 170.
35050. Shoot. Tube 1 fired electrically.
In its primary role, the attack submarine is a symphony of dedicated, highly trained men in concert, creating the most deadly force in the sea. The attack sub's primary weapon is the Mark 48 torpedo. Wire-guided with both active and passive sonars, its accuracy is deadly within its 20-mile range. A new technology weapon gives the attack submarine another dimension of power. Submarine-launched cruise missiles, SLCMs, would project the sub's range of attack far beyond its torpedo range. By flying above the ocean with coordinates supplied by a third party, the payload is delivered expediently and with no wake. The sub-rock missile, an anti-submarine weapon, travels at supersonic speeds to release a depth charge, either conventional or nuclear. Launched from a standard 21-inch torpedo tube, the solid rocket motors propel the warhead up to 35 miles to be guided through its descent by an inertial guidance system.
Will build and place on station a fleet that will never attack first, but possess sufficient powers of retaliation, concealed beneath the sea, to discourage any aggressor from launching an attack upon our security.
In response to the Soviets launching Sputnik in 1957, the United States scrambled to develop the ultimate in nuclear deterrence, the nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. Under Admiral William Rayborn, the Navy produced in record time a solid fuel rocket which could be fired from a submerged position. The result was the George Washington class, utilizing the Polaris A-1 missile. By the end of 1961, 5 submarines of the George Washington class patrolled the North Atlantic and Mediterranean, each carrying 16 of the 1,200 nautical mile missiles. An improvement on the A-1, the Polaris A-2 slightly extended the missile's range to 1,500 nautical miles. Five ships of the Ethan Allen class were commissioned by 1963 with Polaris A-2 missile. Totally redesigned, the Polaris A-3 missile became operational in 1964. Improved solid fuel, a lighter casing, and an efficient use of space extended the range to 2,500 nautical miles. This impressive increase in range over the A-1 and A-2 missiles gave the ballistic submarine a far larger patrolling area, minimizing its vulnerability as a deterrent. The Lafayette became the mainstay of America's nuclear deterrent. Its Polaris A-3 missiles introduced maneuverable reentry vehicles, MRVs, effectively multiplying the missile's firepower. Packing 16 Polaris A-3 missiles, each with 3 200-kiloton MRV warheads, each of the 31 Lafayette-class subs carries nearly 10 million tons of deterrent force. Unlike the attack sub's mission to seek and destroy, the ballistic sub's mission is to evade detection and avoid contact of any kind. It is a silent deterrent. The Poseidon missile surpassed the Polaris A-3's range to 2,800 nautical miles and could throw up to 10 MRVs of 50 kilotons each. In the light of continued Soviet missile buildup, Congress approved the development of the Ohio class of ballistic missile submarine in 1974. It is the largest sub in the American Navy, displacing an awesome 18,750 tons and measuring 560 feet long. But its gigantic size belies its mobility, quietness, and speed. The Ohio class is the nation's most survivable weapons system. This giant submarine spawned several innovations that revolutionized how submarines are built. Rather than create the massive hull first and then build the interior, a new modular approach was taken. The hull was built in sections on a grid system of rail tracks and transfer cars. As the interior of each hull section was filled out, it would then be welded to its neighboring section. This technique made installing major components easier and reduced total construction time. With a complement of 133 men and patrols longer than 90 days, life aboard the submarine has to run as smoothly as possible. The ship is easier to maintain than earlier ballistic submarines. Officers and enlisted men alike enjoy excellent food, exercise, medical care, comfortable bunks, quiet study, and even privacy. It must be remembered that the men who serve in the silent service sacrifice a great deal to ensure our country's security. The Ohio class is the most sophisticated machine ever built. Each man on board has a specific task to perform, in unison with the rest of the crew. In order to perform, he must be well trained. Training has always been a high priority for the submarine force, not only in matters of operations, but also in matters of survival. The submarine is inherently a dangerous machine, and should a mishap occur below the surface, the crew must be prepared to escape. This technique for escaping from depths down to 300 feet, known as blow and go, involves constantly releasing air from the lungs on the ascent. The Get Wet chamber prepares submariners for the flooding emergencies, where teamwork is critical.
I'll stop by.
At every level of command, there is more training to undergo. There could never be enough training to prepare for what can go wrong below the surface.
Aye, belay your heading.
Belay the headings, aye.
Flying the engine road! Flying the engine road!
Aye, sound the collision alarm. Emergency blow all main ballast. All ahead, full.
An enemy submarine can be the most fearsome threat for surface fleet forces. As it is for submarines, sonar is the heartbeat of ASW. The hunt begins with a contact on the sound surveillance system, an array of hydrophones on the ocean floor.
Contact Keflavik, ASW, Opcon, and get a P3 out here and let's nail this thing down.
A land-based P3 Orion, equipped with a magnetic anomaly detection system, MAD, checks for slight disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field.
Sensor 1, the initial channel will be channel 8, followed by channel 9. Sensor 1 and 2, keep you updated of any contact on any of these dive bar 8, 9, 1, or 2. The final buoy is out at this time. Flight, here is your flight 2 point.
Tackle sensor 3, I have no radar and ESM contacts on the scope at this time.
Gilbert, I might have a possible LPFY on buoy number 4.
Yeah, Taco sensor 1. I believe I've got contact on dive bar 9 at this time.
Moderate strength ocean front located here. The most likely course of action for the contact would be to move north into the area of the ocean front.
It is integral in ASW to monitor environmental conditions in which the contact may seek cover.
Move to P3, 250 miles northeast, and lay a pattern, listen for possible submarine approach from the northeast.
Aye, Admiral.
Carrier-based S-3 Viking jets will continue beyond the range of the P-3 Orions.
Initial buoy drops.
Destroyers maneuver to the estimated location of the threat, its helicopters equipped with lamps dipping sonars.
We are closing at max sonar speed to get within passive detection range.
How soon can we expect to gain passive detection?
ASW officers aboard the destroyer estimate the present location of the threat based on the last sounding.
Sharps indicates 30 minutes after that, Captain.
Very well.
Supervisor, believe I hold submarine contact.
How's your echo quality?
Sharp and strong.
Go ahead and put it out.
Aye.
TTC, observe B-scan.
All station sonar. Sonar has active B-scan contact off the starboard bow. Classification, possible sub-low.
With the threat located, they proceed to track the target. Had this not been peacetime, an anti-submarine weapon would have been deployed immediately.
Sonar supervisor, target tracker sees a shift in Doppler.
Sonar 2-5, CIC sonar. We now see the target with a down Doppler, indicating the target is opening.
Hotel 2, Charlie 4, my searcher contact correlates your listener, over.
Hotel 2, Victor, contact strong, maintaining, out.
Sonar soup, I have no echoes.
Okay, give B-scan back control.
Shifting control to B-scan.
TTC B-scan, I have control.
You still see it?
I sure don't.
Inform combat.
Aye. All stations sonar. Sonar has lost contact.
Hotel 2, Charlie 4, LAMP says contact. Buoy number 15 is hot. Over.
Buoy 15 is reported hot on the bearing 068.
B-scan contact off the starboard bow.
Because it is so hard to maintain the contact, the problem of effective ASW is one of numbers. So many resources must be dedicated to tracking one sub that to guard an entire coastline is nearly impossible. As opposing subs become more quiet, the problem grows in complexity. Fast, quiet, and evasive, the nuclear submarine is the ultimate weapon. Until a radical breakthrough in ASW technology occurs, the attack submarine will continue to rule the oceans, and the ballistic submarine will remain the most survivable deterrent.